At the calendar first. Today is the last day of new stuff before Thanksgiving, right? So that's good. It's not the last new day of learning because you might still learn some stuff before the test, but it's the last day of like, here's new information. And again, it's one of my favorite lessons of the year. Tuesday is review day, block day is test, Friday is catch-up day. Vast majority of you are caught up, so Friday will be.
I won't be here.
And that's why I did it, because you guys watching at home, there's a bunch of people that won't be here that day. If you're at home, make sure you check in and do the attendance stuff so you get credit and all that stuff. So just click around in Schoology. But we're not doing anything new on Friday.
So, for worksheet number 3.
Let's take questions from worksheet number 3.
Yes, could you just really quick explain what that symbol is?
What that symbol is? Were you here on Friday?
No.
Well, that would be explaining, like, that's the whole point of the lesson.
Yeah.
Somebody give me one from number 3 to do, and in the process we'll reteach what that symbol means for those that weren't here
I'm assuming it means
on Friday. Number 3. So, what that symbol means, Jason and others who weren't here Friday, that symbol is the Greek letter S. Officially, it's called summation notation. It's a sigma, is the Greek letter.
Okay.
Summation notation. The bottom number is the lower limit. That's the first number we'll plug in. We'll plug in n equals 2 to get the series started.
Oh, I love this thing.
The 6 is the upper limit. That's the last number we'll plug in. So we'll plug in 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Okay.
And then we'll add them up.
Okay.
And where we plug them into is this formula that it gives us.
Okay.
So it looks crazy, but it's not as bad as it initially looks. So this one looks a little crazy. So n equals 2. So negative 1 squared times 2 plus 2 would be a positive 4.
Oh, that's all?
I mean, we got to do that for 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then add them up.
So what if it's a lot bigger of a number? Are we going to have that on like the test?
Yeah, so if it's a lot bigger of a number,
So
we'd give you a calculator.
Let's say it's 15.
This is a no calculator test, so we're not going to give you 2 to 15.
Is it going to be like 3 or 4 maybe? Numbers.
Just recognize it as a number.
Now, sometimes you can recognize what's happening. That's true. So that's negative 5.
So we need n equals 6.
I mean, you can
right?
just
We got to get to 6.
Okay, so
Negative 1 to the 4th. 4 plus 2 is 6.
Yeah, so I think 4, 5, 6,
Yeah, most times after you do 3 or 4 of them, you start to realize, oh, I see what the pattern is. Like, what if n equals 5? What's the answer going to be?
negative 7.
Negative 7, without even plugging it in, because you realize we're just going up, like in number, but we're alternating signs. So when n equals 6,
Is there ever going to be a neither in this situation, like with this sigma? It's just
Well,
going to be arithmetic and geometric?
this is a neither. This is not arithmetic or geometric.
Oh,
It's sort of like a combination. It's like the negative sign is geometric, but the n plus 2 is arithmetic. So, yeah, it's a neither, which is why there's no magic formula. We just have to add them up.
For the answer thing, would we just do like the squiggly line, parentheses thing, and then put all those numbers with the comma?
No, because the answer is going to be the sum of those. We need to actually add them up.
Yeah.
So negative 1 and negative 1, and you can do it by groups usually. Negative 2 plus 8 is 6.
Oh, shoot. Don't quote me on that.
Okay.
Now, some of the later ones have magic formulas for arithmetic or geometric, but if it's not either one, there is no magic formula. You just have to
Nobody knows.
write them out and plug them in. Plug them in, write them out, add them up. Like, there's no shortcut to it. Let's do one that has a shortcut. So let's do a few more. And
Can we do one like 5?
Like 5?
Yeah.
Okay. Write that one using sigma notation.
Yeah, we just gotta take out 3.
So that's sort of going backwards. We'll start with 1 and go to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 terms.
No, it has to do with 3.
Has to do with 3. Be more specific. I mean, you're right.
Because it's one of the, that thing.
So what's going on there? We're timesing by 3. So what does that mean in terms of what type of? It's geometric. So the equation is, let's see, I don't really have this one memorized. I know how they both work. It's what you start with, and then geometric means times r to the n minus 1, as opposed to plus d times n minus 1.
So are the equations going to be on the test given, or do we have to memorize them?
We will give you, I think we give you the sum equations, but not the
Geometric or arithmetic?
not the term equations. We give you the sum equations, not the term equations. Yeah. I think I'll need to check that, but I think that's what we did. All right, let's do another one. We need to do one where we use one of those sum equations. Number 8. Which of the following? Oh, so we're still not adding them up. We're just trying to recognize what's going on here. Let's see. Most of them have 2/3 to the n. So.
Most of them.
yeah, not most. All of them. So that doesn't really help.
Wait, n equals 0. Is that even a thing?
It could be. That's where we would start. If I plugged in n equals 0, what's 2/3 to the 0 power?
1.
1.
So
But this does not start with 1.
Okay, we can cross those out.
So we can cross that one out, and we can cross d out, because we're not starting with 0. We're starting with 1.
Now, I would look at A.
2/3 to the 1 is 2/3. So n equals 1 is right.
Yeah.
Now we just need to figure out how many terms are there. Are there 8 terms or 9 terms?
If we have a calculus, just plug in 9 and just see what it is.
But we won't have a calculator, so I think rather than doing 2/3, why don't we just do 2
I'm sick.
and figure that the 3 is going to kind of follow along. Like, I don't want to do 2/3 a bunch of times.
Well, it'll be 2 to 8.
2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256. And again, I'm assuming the 3s are going to follow along. I don't want to do the 3s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's the 8th term. So that one's B.
I'm struggling doing that.
Number 7 says.
Wait, so then
7 is similar,
Yeah, but 7 is like the most obvious one.
but it's probably easier because it's arithmetic rather than geometric.
No, right, but there's only 1 equals 0, so you just plug in 0. 0 times 4 is 0 plus 4.
Here are the formulas that we will give you.
No, it's 1 plus 4.
Except on the test, or I need to check, but I don't think we label them. I think we give them to you, but we don't label them. Although, if there's an R, it's got to be geometric, so that's kind of the giveaway as to which one's which. Ty? So I was writing out the numbers to figure out if it's 8 terms or 9 terms. So I wrote out the terms until I got to 256. I mean, officially, I guess I was supposed to write out all the 3s as well, but I didn't want to, because I didn't want to multiply by 3 all those times. So I just did the numerator and figured that's good enough. So I wrote them out until I got to 256. I wrote out the numerators until I got to 256. And then I just counted to see how many terms I had. First term, second term, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, 8th term. Because I was trying to differentiate between A and B, the 8th term and the 9th term. Jason?
could you do one like 11 or 12, like the bigger numbers?
Yes. So, yeah, bigger numbers. So I don't really want to do this the long way where I plug in 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 all the way to 24. Like, officially that would work, but that would be the long way around. So if I want to use one of the shortcut formulas, I have to know if this is arithmetic or geometric. Jason, do you know which one it is?
Oh yeah, they're arithmetic.
It's arithmetic. If you're not sure on one, then plug in a few terms and see what happens. If I plug in 1, 6 plus 1 is 7. If I plug in 2, I get 12 plus 1 is 13. If I plug in 3, I get 19. Again, I don't want to do that 24 times, but if I need to do it a couple of times to figure out, oh yeah, this is arithmetic, then I know which formula to use.
Plus 6. It's already there.
So how many terms are there in this?
There are 23. Or 24.
There's 24, although that is a tricky question, especially if n isn't 1.
Especially when it's new.
So 24. First term is 7. How am I going to figure out what the last term is? Plug in the 24. So 24 times 6. 6 times 4 is 24. Carry your 2, 144. Oops, yes, thank you. Add 1.
Wait, why? Oh.
Because the formula was add 1. So let's see here. 7 plus 145 is 152. This, I don't divide both of them by 2. I need to divide one of them by 2.
Or the 24.
I think I would do the 24. I mean, I'm still going to have to do
Yeah.
third grade multiplication here, but 2 times 2 is 4, 5 times 2 is 10, 304, multiply by 1, that's easy, so 1824.
So that's how you would get the answer.
Yes.
Then you add it.
Trying to find it on the calculator and show you why we don't. Here's why you don't have a calculator on this part of the test. Because if you go to math and you go to summation, then you can just fill in the
See, if you didn't tell us that, we wouldn't have figured it out. You wouldn't have figured it out.
x equals 1 to 24. And I don't mind doing this on this one because, well, check my work here. 6x plus 1. We think that's equal to 1824. Fingers crossed. 1824. Yay us.
So that's why we can't use the calculator.
That's why you can't use the calculator. Because all you have to do is type it straight in. But if you use the calculator and I don't see any work, I'm not going to give you any credit. So, or photo math. I mean, yeah, the people at home know about photo
When
math.
it's an N and it changes
And
to a V.
it's great to check your work, but it's obviously not good to use on a test.
Especially when it goes from N to V.
All right, let's talk about my favorite.
The answer is the 18.
The answer is 1824. One other comment about that 1824. I hope no one has to do this, but every year there's like one person among all 2, 3, 4 classes of pre-cal, however many I have that year, who they forget the formula, or maybe they're just checking, I don't know, but they'll add 6 every time, and they'll write it out
Don't tell me they go all the way there.
24 times, and then they'll add them up, and they'll get 1824. It's just that's really not the best way to go. But I mean, if you got 5 minutes left at the end of class and you're sure that they're all right and you want to check one, it's fine. It's just a really long way to do it.